Hello, everybody. I'm Jason, the Wizard of Ops, and with me, as always, is Jay, aka Dark Matter, our man with the plan, right?
That is right. I am the man with the plan. You are the man with the platform and the
Yeah.
data. So let's do it.
How you doing, Jay? How was your weekend?
It was great. It was nice, relaxing. Kids' activities. Nothing too promiscuous. So all in all, a good restful weekend.
Nice. Yeah, I watched my daughter play soccer. My 5-year-old daughter play soccer, which is a bunch of beehives, and then as time goes on, they all lose attention, and you know, it was yeah, it's fun to watch, I guess.
No, it is.
It's interesting.
It's all it's interesting. You're like, do the fundamental thing, and then you're like, it's just kids, right? And you're like, okay, now I know what I need to teach them more of.
Oh, I mean, I just saw it as controlling crying. So
Okay, that's fair.
we're just organized control crying. That's what we're doing. All
That's
right.
right.
Well, before we get into this, I did want to talk a little bit about what Volland is currently offering and what we are doing and where we're at, right? So currently, Volland 2 is in a soft launch because not all of the widgets are available, right? Right now, for $150, you can subscribe to all the exposure and cumulative charts, stuff that you see here from Jay from Dark Matter. And this is really the heart of Volland data. They're offered in 2-minute intervals. So, I mean, before Volland Live was 5-minute intervals. Now they are offered in 2-minute intervals. So that's definitely an improvement. The also, right now, we are, in the end, we are going to have 1,000 tickers, give or take, as opposed to the 250 we had before. We're able to do this because now we are sourcing our data from the CBOE, and they have a very large calculation engine. You know, they have basically a server farm in Secaucus in Chicago doing this, right? Like, so it's so we're able now to offer tiers on a capability basis, you know, basically telling you what kind of trader you are and kind of giving you those capabilities that suit your trading style. So you're not paying for things that you're not using. That is what our tiers are going to be focused on, as opposed to technical constraints. Before, it was more about what we were able to do with our own calculations. So that's basically kind of what the future of Volland is, you know, without announcing anything. And but right now, I mean, you're getting pretty darn good value at 150 with 2-minute intervals, and we're growing the tickers in increments. I think right now we're at the second pack, which I think we're doing 100 ticker packs, but the last one might be just all 500 because they have basically the last 500 have basically the same option traffic as SPY alone. So, we'll also have the capability to group tickers. So, you know, if you want all the SPX components, you know, on a delta, on like a delta kind of x-axis, that's the kind of stuff that we're going to have in the future. We have a lot of ideas for new widgets. Some of them completely simplifying, in my opinion, a little bit reductive, but hey, completely simplifying the Volland data into, hey, are we bullish or are we bearish? Are we more volatile or less volatile? Like what is the status here? So that's where we are at currently with Volland and where we are going. And I mean, Jay, if you have any comments on what I just said.
Yeah, no, I would love to just recap that, and I think one key feature that I am so ecstatic about when it comes to Volund 2 is the overnight updates that we're getting specifically on ES, right, or SPX futures. So there's a prime example of that we'll get into today here of showing that in real time and how that occurred overnight. But 2-minute updates, like that's freaking awesome. $150 a month. You guys have made it cheaper than it was previously. So hey, in a world of inflation and how everything is just going up, you guys made it go this way. So bravo and kudos to you on that.
Yeah. Well, 150 this is like I said, it's our soft launch. We're just kind of getting people in the door, but the tiers that we're going to have, they're going to be, I think people are going to like them a lot better. Just because, there's zero, like for instance, there's intraday traders out there that don't need like all the kind of fancy option widgets. Now you're not going to have to pay for them. There's option traders out there that don't care what paradigm we're in. You don't have to pay for that anymore. So, I mean, it's stuff like that that's kind of how we're focusing our efforts and our tiers are now. So stay tuned. We're going to release that pretty soon. So the other thing that Jay was talking about with overnight updates, during the trading day, or the trading evening, I guess you could say the overnight, what is that, starting at like 6 o'clock?
Yep.
ES is trading. And when you look at now the SPX, the SPX charts, you'll notice that in the middle of the night, SPX is changing price, and it is changing price in accordance with the ES changes that are happening and recalculating the whole option surface in accordance with the underlying price. It also is showing you the overnight option traffic. So, they do trade SPX options in Europe and, in America too, I guess, but mostly in Europe. And they're trading them during their hours. And in the old Volland, the 9 o'clock update was the first time you could see them. And now you could see them as they're traded. So that was a nice special, somewhat unexpected feature of getting the data directly from the exchange that we appreciate. So so Jay, show me what you did last night.
Let's do it. Let me first jump.
Trading.
Yeah, let's do it. Because those features updates are so timely. Let's first kick in, and I'll kind of weave it into the trade plan as we go into here. So, I would say last week we're kind of called 6650 to kind of hold on the week there. We dipped into 6640 to be specific. We just barely tapped below 6650. That held
right?
Yeah, 67, excuse me. Well, we held the low, then went and tested the highs of the week at 67.50 there. So a nice 100-point bounce if you're patient, and I spell that P-A-Y, patient, for taking the long last week. So really, really good data there. Now, as we head into this week, the biggest change just at a high level in terms of what has changed from a gamma standpoint here, we're looking at basically 6,700 and below looks very supportive in my opinion. This is even looking at it on Friday's updates as well. So we clearly have some support below us. I think where there's some resistance here, and you'll see an overnight action around 67.50. So for me, the kind of key critical pivots to the upside this week will be that 67.50 level, and then to the downside, 6,700 is a big level here, but I would even say that could overshoot if we do test the lower range of last week, which is around 67.85, 67.75, or 66.75, excuse me, not 67. But so let me keep going. Event catalysts this week. You still have the government shutdown. So like just calling that out, any data as it relates to the government, you might not get those released. I do believe, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong here, Wiz, would the Michigan consumer sentiment come regardless, or is that
impacted
too?
I don't know for sure. It's anything public that's released is not. I'm pretty sure Michigan is University of Michigan, so they are not affected by the government shutdown. But like, last week we got the ADP payrolls, but we didn't get the jobless claims or the NFP, because jobless claims and NFP are government and ADP is private. So those are the only kind of hints that we get. And one thing that I'll call out with regards to this, even for like the next few weeks, is the event vol is gone. Like, there is no event vol anywhere because there are no events. I mean, the next time you see any kind of real elevated event vol is end of the month. You got FOMC. If the government reopens, I get the feeling that there will be some event vol kind of spikes in certain areas where economic data will be coming in. And if that happens and, government reopens, we might see a little bit of red to kind of start. But I also don't think that's going to be the case, this week, honestly. Like, from what I'm reading, it seems like this is a standoff. So
Yeah, well, let's get into the trade plan, because that will help us determine how we trade this week then. So I'm going to just jump into Volland so that we can look at the charts in real time here. So a couple of those key critical levels that I was looking at as we're reviewing the week here. And let me just bounce back here for a minute. I'm going to pull up a thread here that we've been discussing in the channel. So here's kind of the power of the futures update. So before futures started, here is a view of our gamma. You can clearly see this big tower here at 67.25, right? Over here as well. And as the trading session continued overnight, what you'll start to see here as those positions were trading, that large, massive tower at 67.25, poof, gone, especially on a weekly level, right? And then as price started to make its way, it sold off near 67.50 as well, 67.40 in overnight action. This tower started to increase again, this gamma tower here at 67.25. So we actually saw it become supportive. And if you kind of want to see that action on a chart here, I'll show it as well. So we started the overnight futures action here just above 67.20, which was a critical Vanna and gamma level. It consolidated, chopped around here, chopped around. And as price was moving up, what I saw here in overnight action, as then we started to see this sell, was gamma come in right here at 67.25. We had some Vanna there too, and some charm that kicked in essentially to kind of give us this massive wick here in price action. So I was trading, waiting here. I had locked in some profits at this point. I was then waiting for potentially, regular trading hours to take a long again. I saw this sell. I actually missed this wick. It happened so quick. I can't even tell you how quick this happened. If you go down even to a 5-minute chart, I mean, look at this gamma reaction. I mean, it was one 5-minute chart, like impossible to get these lows. But I just want to call out here, when you have the data in front of you, it's just a matter of just waiting, right? I don't think I was even paying attention to my alerts, but this would have been a heck of a trade right there to have taken. So I'll quickly pause. I just want you to chime in. Like, that overnight data is just so fundamental, because before, when I was trading overnight, I had stale data, let's say, right? None of that, overnight futures action. So now that I have it, you can go in, out. It's very responsive. Your thoughts?
Well, one thing I will say is that there's a strong European derivatives trading desk, like that in London, especially. That's where, I mean, I'd probably say I wouldn't say maybe larger than Chicago, but definitely the largest outside of America. I mean, it probably rivals Chicago, how many traders there are in London, derivative traders, and market makers too. And Germany is beginning to grow a little bit. We're seeing a lot of Germans subscribing to Volland too. Israel and Greece have a lot of kind of derivative trading desks. Greece has a lot of hedge funds. A lot of vol hedge funds come out of Greece. I don't know why, but it is. I'm just saying that Europe has a very strong contingent, stronger than even Asia, like Japan and stuff. They're not as strong. I think the reason why is because there's not really much of an overlap between Asian and American trading hours. So
Yeah.
I think what you're seeing there is the European trading hours being very strong, with their derivative trading. And so I think that, having the overnight Volland data makes a lot of sense that it would help you in your trading.
No, it was. I mean, we had 67.20 as a critical level, and that held support, pushed up, right? Came back and tested. So just those key levels, again, I'll just kind of recap for everyone here. So, I don't expect us to go test all the way down to 6,600, but 6,640 to 6,600. I mean, if you're a bear, you got to see that zone give up. If you want to see any other deeper cut there, I'm not here to say that that will occur, but what that means is your R&R, if you're shorting, has to be kept to scalps. Points more likely, as you can see that dips are being bought, and with earnings coming up, wouldn't be shocked if they kind of consolidate us this week, bouncing us, across a couple of these key levels here. So on the upside, 67.85. If we get through 67.50 is what you're looking at there. But let me go ahead and pull up the Vanna view for the weekly here. I mean, I'll quickly pause here, let you chime in, Wiz. Pretty supportive.
I agree. I think like on the weekly, excuse me, on the weekly, you go for it. Hold on.
Yeah, no worries. Take your time. Well, he catches himself there. So again, I would say on the weekly, let me back out here as we're looking at the week. When you're looking at multiple time frames, whether you're looking at an intraday time frame, this week's time frame of Volland Greeks, or even the next 2 weeks or 30 days, you're looking at a very kind of bullish look and feel. There are some key critical support levels that need to hold, but without that event vol, I just don't see the bears making a case. So more than likely, my expectation is we're range bound this week here. Might see some reversion here early on in the week, but essentially I kind of see us topping around 67.85. Could we hit 6,800? It is starting to peak on the weekly, but there is an outside shot of that. Wiz?
Yeah, so like I was beginning to say, so let's kind of conceptualize the way dealers have this right now, right? This is Vanna. So there is customers are buying up puts, but down to that 6,700 level, right? Customers, the negative Vanna below 6,700 are customers premium collecting. Okay, those are the puts that they are selling. So it's almost like the dealers right now are holding kind of short verticals. Okay.
Yeah.
Or credit spread verticals on the downside. On the upside, those big negative strikes are just sold calls. So really, like, you can almost picture this as customers overall for this week are holding mini JPX or JPM collars, right? Long puts, short puts below it, the put spread with the short call above. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. This is Vanna, right? Not Charm.
Yeah.
Those are long calls. So people are buying calls at those negative Vanna levels. So okay, take that back. It's not JPM. But so if we were to get over those long call areas, that could be like a major breakout, right? We could be going up to 88, 87, 80, 8800 really. For the downside, though, which is kind of what I think we're going to be projecting more of this week. I think we're just not going to move much this week overall. But if we start getting into that green zone, that's when you're going to start, hey, this is a place where I can buy the dip, small, but, buy the dip and try to get back to 6,700. I think 6,700 is where we're destined for this week.
Yeah, I mean, and if you let me now go pull up Gamma for a second, and I'll pull up Charm for you. But I mean, you look at even the Gamma, right? Yeah. I mean, this is all expiration. Let me just pull up the weekly here as well. I mean, you can see where the towers reside, right?
Yeah.
So you got,
Yeah, and
this is your 60.
that's volatility suppressing, right? So that's where that's volatility suppressing. So that's kind of, as long as we're in those goalposts, we're probably not going to move much. But yeah, so
Yeah, and I think it's you kind of got these two key critical levels to the downside: 67.25, 6,700. I already mentioned it holding an overnight action. It feels like we're a few points, I think about 10 points shy of 67.25 right now as the market retraces here a little bit, but keep an eye intraday for that, see how this position or level is shifting. But you lose that, you start to tread down this way, right? So keep an eye on the VIX as well. Might see some statements come out. Who knows? That could be the only of volatility that we're not accounting for. Who knows what comes about from there?
Yeah, I think again, a catalyst may get us, minus 100 points or something down to 6,600. South of 6,600, we'll probably see a vol event, but between that 6,600, 6,700, you might think, I might try to buy the dip here a little bit, right? Yeah, so I mean that would be my strategy. Go up to the cumulative chart in the top right-hand corner. That's all expiration data, right?
Yeah. Yep. Let me pull that up. One second.
You could use the cumulative chart, but
cumulative. My bad. Here we go.
Yeah, so this is what all expiration put and call Vanna, right? Yep. You're gonna see here there is a lot of downside. If we do drop and we get below 6,600, that could get really strong, right? We're on the shorter terms, which is more or less what we're concerned with in the show. In the shorter terms, like the 2-week, 3-week kind of time frame, we are, we're seeing support. Probably nothing's going to happen, right? But on the higher time frames, I am more or less concerned of a precipitous drop down. So
agreed.
So I would be careful below 6,600, but until then, I think we have quite a bit of support, and I think we'll be okay. Overall, I think this week will be a slow trend. Probably pin at 6,700 a little bit, and what are we at now? Like 6,730. So I don't remember you saying what the expected move is. What's the expected move this week?
Yes, good call. I did skip right over that, so thank you for reminding me. So expected move is about 94 points for the week, so that puts us on the upper bound about 68.09 and lower bound at 66.21.
Yeah, probably a good week to sell premium.
Yeah. That's just a very good point.
94 seems to be a bit. So,
yeah. All right. With that, let me just going through it. We went through there. Yeah. I mean, intraday and kind of just here's some of my trade ideas here. If we test support at 6,700 or have a failed breakdown of it, that's a great trade to consider. And then if you see anything in the 66.40 or 66.50, I'm buying that. And I know where my stop loss to keep it, and I'm going to keep writing that sucker up then. I don't like any short trade ideas. I'll just call it for what it is. You might get like a reversion, quick 5 to 10 points. But if you're not quick scalping, I wouldn't recommend any short trade ideas. Let the dips come to you, buy those instead, would be my recommendation. So that is what I'm looking forward to on the week here.
Yeah, 67.50. I mean, it could be a little bit of a resistance. And while I'm saying 6,700 is probably kind of where we're going to hang around for this week, there is no like real resistance level. Like there's nothing that's strongly resisting us this week. So I agree with this. I mean, I would not be short at all. I would only be long and flat. Those would be the two, unless of course people start selling calls or whatever they do. But looking at it right now, I would either be long or flat.
Yeah.
I would not
Amazing.
short until we drop below 6,600.
Yeah. And we got earnings coming up too. So
yeah,
in the weeks ahead.
We got plenty of stocks to go look at the earnings. So
that's
all
right.
Well,
that's
let's
right.
check out we got some responses. Mark agrees with you, loves the overnight data. I think that this will appeal a lot to our European subscribers. You know, this is something that we are getting that no other service can even get. So I mean, I think that's it is a really good addition, and that would be probably part of our zero DTE. Like those are the kind of people that would be interested in that, just going scalping overnights. People like you.
Yep.
If you like Jay's strategies, then you would love the overnight stuff. So, all right, Neil asks, I'm an intraday trader of only equity futures. Which data set that you guys provide would help me the most? I'm a discretionary trader using market profile for my trades. I think that's trader, TRAD, right? We're not.
Yeah,
He's not going to
autocorrect.
No mutiny coming from Neil.
No gex.
No mutiny. So the data set that we have, I mean, right now, like I said, we only have the $150 tier working, and it will get you the data set that you would need. We are going, you're trading only during regular trading hours, as he said in his follow-up comment. And that when we release our, like a zero DTE kind of, tier, you're going to want to see like these paradigms, you're going to want to see like the intraday chart, charm chart. You're going to, that's the kind of data that you're going to be looking at. But you'll be able to make your own kind of workspace. You can see here on Jay's thing, he has his own workspace with all of the green.
I'll quickly let me take on here. I think I might have lost Wiz for a moment, but what Wiz was kind of mentioning here for those who have not been in Volland, you can set up multiple workspaces. So in my example here, what we were looking at was my first workspace, which is mainly look at weekly and higher timeframes. And then as we can see here, when we're looking at charm, for example, or even anything zero DTE, if we are trading intraday, I do have a separate zero DTE workspace. And the way that I just have that set up, charm is obviously one of the most important zero DTE Greeks out there. And so the way that I have those are puts and calls with puts, and then calls separated as well, just so I can see those separately. You can, come in here, look at the charm as well, or any of the other Greeks. So totally up to you how you want to define those dates, the time frames, how you want to set up your workspaces, all flexible for you. Apologies, Wiz, I took you on while your internet.
Yeah, my internet conked out. So yeah. All right. So I have nothing to add because I don't know what you said, but but he's more of a zero DT trader than me, so it's good. I'm glad he answered it.
Yeah, I mean, the TLDR for the folks is just that you can customize your workspaces based on whatever expirations your heart desires.
Yes. Mark is correct. Futures is going to be a little bit later, but yeah, ES futures are coming to Volland, as are the other future classes too. So Johannes is talking about SPY exposure being way larger than SPX right now. I'm going to hold off judgment on that because we need to keep doing our aggregations of our historical data. So let me see what the historical data has, because SPX tends to be like a monthly, quarterly, and annual area where, kind of price agnostic institutions are hedging and trading. Only really on the intraday level are there, dynamic trades being made, condors and whatever. So I'm going to hold off judgment, but yes, I did notice that as well, Johannes. Um, Ron, are the line charts showing the same info as the histogram? Yes, the line charts are basically a cumulative version of the histogram. And it's just kind of more for visualization. You see a big hill in front of you that is kind of saying, oh, that's resistance, right? Or a big hill behind you, that's support. It's, like I said, you can almost treat it like hills, right? So I don't know. Do you have a comment on that?
Yeah, no, I think it depends on the Greek, first of all. Not all are made to be the same. But like when we look at Vanna, I think you called it out earlier, right? Where when we were kind of on the all expiration view, you've got some, potential sloppiness that can occur here if we lose out on a key critical level. But when you start to take a view of this and now go into, let's say, the weekly, you can, to your point, this is a hill. This is your back, right? It's like the mountain's behind you. It's here to support you. Nothing's going to climb over it, right? And then whereas here, you're just like skiing down, right? You're just going at it. So like there are some visual, call outs here, especially when you can see this. So as I'm looking at this, for example, I'm like, okay, I need to keep a bullish bias for this week. And here's why typically. Yeah. And then longer term, I'm like, okay, it might be like this longer term, right?
Sorry, when you said this, I thought 6, 7.
Yeah, and I'm the meme that had to Google that a couple weeks ago when my daughter brought that up. So I feel old.
My kids keep saying that too. Yeah, but right now, also using the cumulative charts, adding the two ends gives you the aggregate Greek as well. So you see how down there, what is that, like -1 billion?
-1
area, yeah. So that until we release the aggregate Greek trend again, that's probably going to be supportive for you. That is also helpful. So, all right, yes, thank you, Ron. You will see some much more simple even widgets coming up. Stay tuned. Neil mentioned ES futures data are coming later. How about NQ or Russell? NQ will be there as well. Right now we have the Russell index, the RUT. RUT and IWM are both in in Volland. So we didn't have RUT in Volland 1 because we didn't have permissions to the FTSE, the index, the exchange that carries it. Now we do. So NQ though and ES will be coming a little bit later. So, all right. So that's what I got. Any final words, Jay?
This week, just take profits where you have them. Don't get too fancy. Continue to monitor, Volland for these intraday updates. Volume's pretty light this week with no, event catalyst. So things can shift drastically, right? So if Charm is telling you intraday, this is the level, resistance or support, trust it. I just don't see a lot of new trades per se or volatility coming in here unless something Trump admin occurs.
Yeah, I think the only catalysts that are going to happen this week are unexpected ones. So that's you kind of, and we're in kind of we're in an administration and in a time period like a government shutdown that unexpected catalysts can happen, both good and bad, right? And there's going to, even if there is an unexpected catalyst, but with promises of catalysts in the future, like government reopens and now we have economic data coming up, that's going to create some spikes in vol in those event areas. So you'll see maybe a short-term downturn. Those are the kind of things that you definitely have to keep in mind how vol will be, because that is going to dictate this, probably over the next couple weeks, how the markets are going to move. So, all right, Jay, good seeing you again. And may Volland help you in your future trading ventures.